So your identity is not created by the body or in the body. Your body is part of your identification, a part of it, just like many other thoughts. There is I thought, there is my thought, there is you thought, there is the body thought. When I'm thinking about you, I'm not experiencing your body. I'm simply thinking about it. I don't know how you experience your body. I simply assume if I am experiencing my body like this with pain and pleasure, you would also be experiencing it in the same way. You don't need an experience to solidify that. Mind will do that. Mind will fill all the necessary details to make it feel like the body that you're interacting with is real. Now, if it can do that with another person, how often when you meet a person, you go and touch them and make sure that they are real? It's a logical thing to do. What if that person is not real? But we don't do that. We simply assume that the person you are interacting with, the person we are interacting with, is real. That assumption keeps things simple. You don't have to check every time. You can make that assumption and put it aside so that you can do other things. That's how the mind works. Mind is not interested in truth. It is not interested in real. What it's interested in is effort and non-effort. If there is an opportunity where it does not have to put in the same effort again and again and again, it will choose that option. This is how we learn. This is how learning happens as a very natural process for the mind. Not because mind is interested in learning, not because it is smart, it is intelligent, it is aware, none of those things. Mind is lazy. So it wants to find shortcuts. It is constantly looking for shortcuts. Now, in its desire to offload effort, it learns. Let's say you start driving, the number of things you need to remember when you start learning to drive, once you're good at it, you hardly even notice them. So what is your mind doing? All the things that are not necessary for you to see again and again, it just pushes it to the background because it does not like effort. It wants to constantly experience new things. So things that are necessary but are not new, are not exciting, it just pushes it to the background. That is what it does with identity as well. Your real identity is something else. Aliveness, consciousness, being, this present moment, no boundaries, no walls, no physicality, existence itself, beyond time, beyond space, beyond all physicalities, beyond this linear progression. Your true story has nothing whatsoever to do with the past. Your true story starts in the present and ends in the present. To know who you are, you have to know this moment in its entirety. That's who you are. You are being created in this moment. You're being destroyed in this moment. You're taking birth in this moment. You're dying in this moment. Everything is happening right here, right now. What happened a moment ago is not you. Yeah, we hold on to it. There's a social utility. There's economic utility. All kinds of things. That's our human story. Existence has no interest in any of that. If you are inquiring about the fundamental nature of reality, what's my identity? Who am I? Where did I come from? Am I real or not? Then your past is useless. How you look now has nothing to do with your past. It has everything to do with the now. Now, that's where it becomes really tricky. We've always assumed that we are complex creatures. There are many moving parts to us. And for each aspect, there's an explanation. My skin color, my height, my weight, the kind of thoughts I generate, it's all connected to my past. It's connected to my childhood. It's connected to my parents. In reality, it's not connected to anything. It is something that you're doing now, in this moment. Everything that you can recognize as you are creating it in this very moment. And it's happening in a single moment. It's not even a sequence. Now, how do you crack this code? Mind only knows how to break things apart or connect things that have moving parts. How do you explain everything that is happening in your life from this moment? You can't do it with words. You can't do it with ideas. You can't do it with thoughts, because they all belong to the same progression, past to future, an imaginary progression. You are trying to understand what the ocean is. But your mind only cares about the waves. Every time you ask the question, who am I? It is telling you something about the wave. You know where this wave started? You know, where did the energy for this wave come from? I'm not interested in the wave. Talk to me about the ocean. But the mind is like, what is the ocean? Because mind is minding. It's waving. It is thoughting, thinking. It knows nothing about the ocean which it's part of. It doesn't see it. Like the fish that doesn't see the water, it does not see consciousness. It does not see aliveness. It does not see the self as something universal, something vast, something transcendental. It has no way to know this. So every time you ask the question, who am I, what am I, all questions about identities are only about thoughts. That is why even the greatest of scientific inventions or theories or ideas about life, about existence, about time, matter, energy mean nothing to you. That is why the world is still mostly religious. It is easy to think it's because people are stupid. No, people are not stupid. It's because the answers cannot be provided from outside. People are trying to hold on to their way of inquiry through the familiar stories. That is what the Bible represents. That is what the Quran represents. That is what the Gita represents. It just represents a collection of stories that appeal to the seeker in you. But the real inquiry is neither scientific nor religious. It is existential. You have to go on this journey, inward journey, all alone, by yourself. And you can't take ideas, you can't take thoughts on this journey, because those are the things you're trying to remove from the room. That's the first step. To know who I am, I cannot be scientific, I cannot be religious, I cannot be anything. I have to be a child, a curious child wanting to know who I am very sincerely. I can't fool myself here. I can fool myself in the world and still do well. But in self-inquiry, there is no fooling. Because you can't even take a single trick, a single idea. That's the whole point of it. Because you're trying to inquire into the nature of reality, your true identity, the trickery of the mind is useless. My sophistication, the theories, the concepts, nothing is needed to go inward. To go inward, I need to start going inward to know what is this going inward. It is its own journey. What you carry here, what you remember, what you forget, what you learn, what you unlearn, you cannot even compare this to anything on the outside. And it is your own journey. You can't even take notes and compare it to someone else and say, hey, did you find this? I found this. What you are finding and what that person is finding on the self-inquiry are two completely different things. Because more than finding, you are removing the obstacles, and your obstacles are your own. His obstacle is his own. But ultimately, you will begin to realize that my identity is not my thoughts, it's not my body, because everything is coming and going. My thoughts are coming and going. My body is coming and going. It's actually that simple. You're not with the body all the time. You just sit and close your eyes. You will see even in 5 seconds, your body is not there continuously. There is a body thought, and then you're thinking about something else. And then you come back to the body. Try staying with the body for 10 seconds. Let's say your breath. Breath is happening in the body. So if you're watching the breath, you are watching the body. Try watching the breath. You will see it is next to impossible to watch the breath without some external thought interfering with it. One moment you're with the breath, next moment you're walking on the beach somewhere. You can't stay with the body for any longer than you can stay with a single thought. That right there proves that body is just another thought. That is why I cannot simply be with the body for as long as I want. I can be with the body only as long as I can be with a thought. When you start watching your breath, you will realize this. The amount of attention I can pay to my body is exactly the same amount of attention I can pay to my thoughts. If I am fluctuating, if I am moving between one thought and another at a certain pace with a certain intensity, that's exactly the same intensity with which I am moving between one body thought and another body thought. No difference whatsoever. If the body were to be real, then something should be different. If it is real, then when you watch the body, your attention should stay on it longer than your thoughts. Try it. Close your eyes. And let's say you pick one of your fingers and say, I'm going to watch that finger. I'm going to watch the sensation of that finger. You try it. Within few seconds, that thought is gone. And you have to remember. You forget your own body. How can you forget your body if it is real? You can forget your body because it's a thought. The only difference between the body and the mind is when you remember the body, you remember it as something that has been doing all these things. It is one idea inside which you put all your other ideas. And that is why it feels real. When you're not with the body, when you're in the world of thoughts, your body is like nowhere there. You're not even thinking about it. You're not even aware of it. If you're taking a walk, unless you trip and fall, or something happens to your body, or you hear some loud sound, or something that represents a danger to the body, you're not aware of the body at all. Now, let me repeat that. You're not aware of it at all. When you're not aware of something, what does it mean? It isn't there. That's what awareness is. If I cannot be aware of something, if I'm looking at that chair and I cannot be aware of that chair continuously, even if I'm sitting and looking at that chair, I can't be aware of it continuously. For a moment it's there, and you keep watching, I'm seeing many different things. I'm not seeing that chair. Because it's a thought. It's exactly the same with the body. For a moment, if that chair can disappear, and disappearing doesn't mean everything else is there, the chair has disappeared. It disappears along with everything. When the chair goes away, the floor goes away, the roof goes away, everything goes away. You have basically shifted your awareness from that chair to something else. Although you don't want that to happen. Now that's the key. You are not choosing to move away from it. You are simply unable to stay with it. You don't want to have other thoughts interfering with your body thought. It is inevitable. You can't watch the body continuously because it is not a continuous thing. The problem is not in your focus. The problem is not in your watching. The problem is in the assumption that my body is real, and when I'm watching it, I should be able to watch it. This is the problem people have with meditation. When I'm sitting and watching my breath, I should be able to watch my breath because it's my breath, it's here. But what if your breath is a thought? What if your body is a thought that comes and goes? Then you can't blame yourself, hey, I'm unable to watch my body. These revelations will happen when you start going inward. Along the journey, you will realize, initially you will put in effort, lots of effort to try and solidify the body, to try and keep it there, to try and watch it. But a moment will come when you will realize, my body is just another thought. Why am I struggling to solidify this one thought? Let me shift back. Let me recede. Let me move more inward and accept my body, my thoughts, and everything in totality. Again, intellectually, you can't get this. When you are there at the right moment, this shift happens. Meditation is 90% effort. You just keep on putting in the effort. It seems like nothing is happening. And then a moment comes when the shift happens. You will experience many different shifts. Now, each shift represents moving closer to your true identity, dissolving your false identity. False identity is nothing but a collection of assumptions. Assumptions that are useful, assumptions that are practical, assumptions we all agree as human species, but not existential. To have the courage to say, I am experiencing my identity as something real on the outside, and it is real only on the outside. It is real only because I want it to be real. Identity of culture, religion, race, country, these are all things I hold on to because it's useful. It makes me feel important. It gives me a place in the world of thoughts. Otherwise, when I am lost in the world of thoughts, I don't know who I am. These things are necessary for me to navigate my world of thoughts, to avoid dangers, to choose, to make decisions. All wonderful. Identity is necessary, even a false identity, to be able to navigate, which is perfectly fine to just live and die. But to know who you are, they're useless. Coming back to the question, if all identities are dreamed into existence, what remains when the dream fades? When the dream fades, the body fades, the mind fades, all false identities fade, the true identity, the real you, emerges from everywhere to occupy every single space. When your true identity emerges, that is the moment of awakening. That is the moment of enlightenment. That is the moment you realize, not intellectually, not theoretically, not conceptually, experientially, for the first time, you know without any doubt that you are.